Happy Saturday, guys! So, yesterday I posted a really awesome single serve shrimp dish. And it is just a super easy, quick, my favorite 5-minute solution when I'm hungry. And when I made it for dinner last night, I fully intended to pop on and make it with you guys at lunch today. So I hope you saw it, and I hope you're excited to see how to make it live. Now, the squash that I used to make this was fresh from my garden, and it is quite a small one. But the nice thing about this is if you're making it for a dinner party, is it makes a nice size side dish to give for each person as a single serving. And then you can add whatever meats and flavors you want to it. So you could do a meatball and marinara sauce. You could do a shrimp. You could do crab. You could do any flavor that you want. So we're going to start with our little half of a squash. And I'm going to drizzle some avocado oil on it for some nice, good, healthy extra fats. And this doesn't have to be avocado if you don't have. It can be whatever. And then I add a little bit of pink salt. And this goes into the microwave for 3 minutes. While that's going, we're going to start with our frozen shrimp, because this is so quick and so easy, guys. It's going to blow your mind. I know that a lot of the recipes look complicated and like they take a lot of time and a lot of pre-thought. But I really like to do a lot of instant meals at my house. When I decide I'm hungry right now. Oh, hello, Robin. Colleen, so nice to see you. So while our spaghetti squash is in the microwave, we're going to get our shrimp going. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about different kinds of squash. So our... Here's the funniest. I once had a lady, I was explaining to her the difference between fall and summer squash. So it's not the season in which it's grown, it's the type of squash. So summer squashes are yellow squashes, zucchini, spaghetti squash. Those are lower in carbs than our fall squashes. And those are things like acorn squash and butternut squash that are too high in carb for us. So I think we're going to do one day where we do a breakdown of different kinds of squash and which ones are really awesome, which ones kind of ride the line, and which ones are no for us. Spaghetti squash is one of the best as a summer squash, and zucchini. Pumpkin kind of rides the middle, and then the far end is your really creamy squashes. They don't have enough fiber to them, and they have way too much carbohydrates. So we're going to start with just a few frozen shrimp, as many as I like for a serving. I've got 2, 4, 6, I've got 8 shrimp in there. And we're going to add a tablespoon of butter. And this can be any fat, again, that you want. Butter I like for this because we're going to make an Alfredo style sauce. And I'm going to add some minced garlic. This is to your taste. I like a fair amount of garlic, so I use about almost a half of a teaspoon of garlic, but I really like a lot of garlic in mine. Plastic wrap so that it doesn't snap all over the place. And as soon as that squash comes out, this goes in for 1 minute. Now, when I made it yesterday, I did add a little bit of Jamaican jerk style seasoning as well. I'm also a big fan of that, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that in there as well. Okay, let's see what we got left on the microwave. Oh, 8 seconds. And we're almost done. Like, this is already almost meal done. Okay, we're going to swap these out. Ooh, that's hot. I need an oven mitt. Okay. Okay, so our shrimp are going in for 1 minute. Our squash is all cooked, and it is so hot. So I'm going to pop it out of its plastic. And I'm going to hold it in the oven mitt, and I'm just going to use my spoon to loosen up the squash from the sides. You can do this with a fork too, but I like to just scoop out so that it's a nicer serving for my squash. And I love the idea of single serve things at my house, because then you can dress each of these however you want. So you could do, you know, with pepperoni and olives, you could do whatever you want. And it's just a small serving. You can see this is a salad size plate. So this is not a large serving. You probably have about a cup of squash all together. Now, I'm going to pull the shrimp out of here and just set them aside on my wrap because they're cooked. And we have our butter sauce. And we're going to add some heavy cream. Now, you don't have to add heavy cream to this. You can just add xanthan gum to thicken as well. But I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So it's 1 tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Okay. Now I'm going to pop this back in the microwave for 20 seconds. And we're going to thicken it with a teeny little bit of xanthan gum when that comes out of the microwave. There we go. But this is also something I make at my house with meatballs. You can do the Alfredo sauce, you can do a marinara sauce, you can add cheese. This is a really nice one to do pierogi fixings as well. So you can do your garlic and your onion and your garlic coil and cook that all up and serve it on your little squash. Okay, so this is nice and hot again. We're going to add just a teeny sprinkle of xanthan gum to thicken it and stir that up to get it to thicken. And then this will be our sauce for on top of, and then we add our shrimp, and that's it. That's how quick and easy that one works out. Use just a little bit more xanthan gum. And I might need to heat it just a little bit more to get that cream thickening. Now, you can also do this in a saucepan and slowly thicken the cream as it heats, but because this is just an instant microwave dish, I like to do it quick. Okay, so I put that in for 30 seconds, and I also have some Parmesan cheese that I'm going to sprinkle on top when I've got my sauce going as well. But it is a nice single size serving. For me, that's a whole meal. But for most of you, it would be a nice size side dish. So this to go with, say, maybe steak, and you could do a surf and turf with your Alfredo shrimp and then your steak on the side, and it's a nice, well-balanced side dish meal. There we go. So our sauce is nice and thickened now. And we'll just stir it to let it continue thickening a little bit more. But see, it's a nice consistency of sauce. So let that thicken just for a minute. You can add a little Parmesan cheese right to the sauce as well to melt in there. And it gives it a nice, creamy, salty flavor. And then I like to sprinkle a little bit on the base of my squash. And then the sauce on top, I'm going to try to move that so you guys can see a little bit better. And we've got our nice thick sauce. And I'm going to save just a little bit to drizzle on top of the shrimp. So I'm going to pop those back on top. One on top of there, and then I add just a little bit of sauce on top of the shrimp. And there we go. So for me, that's an entire meal. This will be my first meal of the day. But again, for you, for your family, it's a nice side dish, individual. You can make whatever flavor you want.